Guys, thanks for being here, and we'll get started. A first question for you guys. Ryan, if you want to start, what are some soccer-specific things you look for in players you recruit?
I would say thanks for having us, by the way. We appreciate it, and we're excited to be here with you guys at CCL. Soccer-specific things we look for in recruits. I mean, I think I'd go to, with our program, technique as a main part, so like ability and comfort on the ball. Along with that, obviously, comes like ability to make decisions on the ball and the speed of play, the speed of decision making that a player would have as you move into the college game. You know, at any level, and included here in the leagues that we play in, athleticism is certainly a component to that as well. And I would say, you know, for me and for us, it would be, you know, soccer-specific athleticism. So can be defined by change of speed, change of direction, you know, also position-specific athletic properties potentially. But, you know, technique, athleticism, I think, would be two things off the bat that we would look for, you know, from a soccer-specific standpoint. And then, you know, in that's a big piece of the recruiting, but as is, you know, competitiveness and character. So as we go through our recruiting process with any player, we're looking at all of the aspects of the person and player. And so, you know, the complete recruit would check a lot of different boxes there.
Awesome. And Coach Benny?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Pfluger really hit it on the head. And again, yeah, thanks for inviting us on your program for tonight. In a nutshell, we're all looking for the best player that we can find. And you know, a lot of that, you know, the technical aspect that Coach Pfluger had, the athleticism, you know, and we really focus on, you know, the whole person too. We're looking at the character as he spoke of, you know, and obviously we look at the grades too. We feel like if you're focusing in your classroom, you're going to be focused on the field and everything else. So, yeah, just you put that all together. You know, we're looking for the best player, and you know, we're fortunate that we out of the CCL and the state of Virginia and everything else, we got very good players to go after.
Awesome. So along those same lines, considering the other components that you guys look at when you're determining who is going to be a part of your recruiting class, what can players do academically to make themselves the most attractive student athlete? How, from your experience, should players balance course rigor and GPA? Does it make sense to take a ton of AP classes and suffer a little bit GPA-wise, or take honors classes and have a more consistent GPA? What do you guys, from your experience, think the best route in that regard is?
Yeah, it's funny you asked that. I sat in on in the admissions department, which, you know, whenever a recruit comes on campus, we send them through admissions, and you know, they would rather see, you know, someone not loading up on the AP and having the GPA suffer. So really a balance between that. So you know, you can keep the GPA high. You know, we do look at, you know, what are other activities out. You know, soccer takes up a ton of time. You know, how you do in the classroom, and other activities, you know, that you might be all, you know, student government and leadership, outside leadership.
Awesome.
Parts of your resume.
Yeah, I guess just to add to that, like the admissions departments make a lot of those decisions, obviously more so than we do, in terms of how they evaluate the transcript and like Coach Benny said, and how they evaluate the transcript and the admissions potential of a student. But like, you know, I definitely think students that are academically competitive, specifically here, it can be important. So just if you can see that, you know, progression maybe through high school, or that they're willing to put an effort in, because it's certainly required here at Roanoke College that you put in a strong academic effort, and I think you'll get the most out of it if you're doing that. And I would just add to that like in terms of academics role in our recruitment, you know, a couple points on a GPA can equal a couple $1,000s in a scholarship, and that's not just for here at Division III, but certainly very much here at Division III in terms of the way that the students are packaged. So again, I would encourage any student looking to play in college to be academically competitive, and that comes down to mostly GPA and test score. And regardless of where you are at any minute, I think that admissions staffs tend to also appreciate growth in academics. So if you had a poor semester early in your high school, it's not to say it's all done, but have you shown that you can grow that GPA or put some time into the test score wherever you like.
Awesome. So staying within the topic of recruiting, how big of a role do your specific team needs play in determining your recruiting class? So should players focus on schools that only are in need of their position? If you have 3 goalkeepers, it's going to be hard for you to recruit a goalkeeper, even if on another year he might make it. How big of a role do those kind of team things play in determining your class?
I would say it's a balance for us. It's not one or the other in terms of strictly recruiting by position versus like trying to find the best players available and put a team together. We certainly can identify positional needs that we have due to graduation, and the one exception, to the rule might be goalkeeping in terms of like we're pretty specific there, and like in terms of what our needs are given a graduation or how many we have in the program in a given year. But I think we're thinking about positional needs for certain as we approach a recruiting class and how we're going to put it together based on players graduating, especially ones that maybe are carrying a ton of minutes in the season prior or in the upcoming season. And then I would also say the versatility is important as well, because if we're able to attract a good player to Roanoke College that we feel can help us, and we've got other players in that same position, versatility for players either in the program or coming in can be important, because we still, could likely find a way to have them help us. And so, I can use the example of, I know, well, even in my coaching career, I've known very talented center midfielders who have played outside back maybe early in their college career just because of a positional log jam, if you will, with other guys. And one currently playing for the Colorado Rapids that I was fortunate enough to work with at one point, played there early and now has been a central midfielder in MLS for a long time. So I just think that, versatility is important, but it's certainly something we think about. And as a player is looking at a school, yes, it is wise to see, how they're listed on the roster. But I think more importantly maybe is to talk to the coach and find out how that player has been used and what maybe their track was throughout their career to see, like, as they're graduating off, what spots might become available.
Yeah, and I would say, Coach, definitely the goalkeeper is a different position where, if we need a goalkeeper, we're going to get after them. And, at least on our end, in the women's side, we've been graduating 7-8 players a season, really players all over the field. So we're not really, like Coach said, looking for a specific player. We're looking for all positions, and in that second, what he said, just being, if as an incoming player, if you're just can play center back, you pigeonhole yourself. So the more dynamic player you can be, and we can play you like Coach who's got center back. We can put you up top. So the good players can play a number of positions.
From your experience, and this answer could differ for a men's program and a women's program, but what do you think the biggest transition for players from the club and high school level to the college game is?
I would go with I use the word grind, the season's grind. It's difficult to prepare for your first college season regardless of the level. And, we have players coming from, I believe, to be very, very good, very, very good youth clubs, in the CCL, the guys we recruit out of the CCL, like coming from good environments where I think they're developing as players tremendously and increasingly each year at a higher and higher level. But it still is difficult to prepare for that first season of 20 games in about, 2 to 3 months. It's a grind on the players. So The athleticism and the fitness levels when you get to the college level are certainly an upgrade, just by nature of, playing against older players potentially, or more physically mature players, and then just how you're able to deal with that grind of physicality throughout a season, taking care of your body, recovery, in addition to a college curriculum and living away from home and adjusting to a new schedule, all of those things. So, it's essentially a time management and an adjustment period. On the field, I would say it's probably a fitness and athleticism adjustment more so than anything else. And then, off the field, a time management and adjustment period as well. So.
Yeah, and again, I echo what Coach Pflugrad. Once you get to college, you're on your own. Your studies are on your own. You're jump right into the college game in the fall. So it's, you're in a new environment. So there's a lot of pulls on the new athlete, and be able to, as you said, get through a season where not a lot of downtime in those 20 games in that time. So mentally and physically, being able to meet that challenge is huge. And then I think once you get to the game, the physical nature of the game is a little bit tougher, a little bit wide, more. It's just more physical game, and a little more speed of play. Those two aspects in the game itself is much different. You're going to see a lot more body contact and holding the ball and so forth. So yeah, it's definitely a step up. But there's different levels within Division III and Division I, Division II, and a lot of that changes too through the leagues.
Certainly. And so with that in mind, what is the most important thing you would recommend to a player before entering college to give him or herself a head start making that jump? Do any of your players play in a summer league or our CCL Pro 23 league?
Yeah, definitely. We'll send out a workout packet over the summer, and definitely follow that one. Everyone loves those preseason workout, to get you ready for the rigors of the game. So, follow that. We want people playing, as you said, over the summer, so you're not getting your game fitness. Our preseason is pretty short, so we want pretty fit players and game fitness there. And I have a number of players and Coach Pflugrad that do play in the Pro 23, which is great. For our local players, and the Roanoke Star has a program in that, and last year we had 2-3 players join in with them, and so playing over the summer and following that workout schedule.
Yeah, again, I think we're going just maybe reiterating points here, but fitness is a big component because, again, short preseason and a tense amount of games that you're thrown right into when you get to college that first year. So, trying to get yourself prepared by playing as much as possible in the summer and developing your fitness levels, your soccer-specific fitness levels. Mentally, going into that first season, preparing yourself for a process. It is a marathon in a way. If you consider it in every single moment, it's going to be a tough grind. Now, you need to be prepared and attentive at all the moments. But over a 4-year career, you may find that something was insignificant within the first week that that you had a problem with when it's all said and done. So I think just understanding that the college experience is a process, and it's one that's tremendous. But I think a lot of times when kids get to us the first time, they're expecting maybe could be instant success. It could be something a little bit different than what they thought. And so I think, again, just that resilience and that stick-to-itiveness is important. Just to reiterate too, the U23 Pro 23 League with CCL has been a fantastic addition for our program as well. I think it's providing both kids that are heading into college, maybe that have started to age out of their club programs, or if they're talented enough to play in those groups, it's an opportunity that, I think when I was a youth player, it was harder to find than it is now in terms of like competitive, organized training sessions and matches in the summer. And what CCL is providing for the clubs is great. I've got guys both here in Roanoke, but then also at their home clubs that they're able to go back to and play. And I can't count exactly how many will be there this summer, but I imagine it'll be 7 or 8 players this summer, maybe more than that are in rosters for the Pro 23. And, as a coach, where we send players away for the summer and we don't have a exact idea of what they're going to be doing, it's great to know that they're in those environments and there's an outlet and an opportunity for them to play. So I think, again, as I mentioned, get fit before you come and play as much as possible, and that's a great way to do it.
So along those same lines, from your experience, how do you feel the CCL can give the players an advantage in terms of getting exposure to college coaches having easy access to players, and what it means when you see a player has played in a league like the CCL?
I think I'll say this: like the CCL has been, I would say, downright excellent in terms of their ability from a coach's perspective to provide the situations, the showcases, the matches that help us to recruit. So literally from a recruiting perspective, between the showcases, the organization of the showcases, and then also throughout the league, the way that we can understand the organization of the league, it's been really, really well organized and catered to our ability to see players and evaluate players. And so I think it's appreciated by college coaches. I can speak for myself, certainly. And so from that aspect, I think it's a great organization for players to be in order to be seen. Now, the second step to that, I think, which is also important, is that the environments that sit in each of the clubs. And so as the CCL has developed the top clubs in many of these areas throughout Virginia, Maryland, where the clubs are from, we know the environments that the players are playing in through the coaching directors and the coaching staffs that they have and the missions of the clubs. And so not only can you literally go to a showcase where it will be organized and helpful in your recruitment of student athletes, but you also know that you'll be able to see a level of player, a competitive high level of player in team that you want to recruit from, because certainly we're trying to get the best players possible to come play for us.
Yeah, to piggyback onto that, and I mean the showcases that you guys run in the CCL, it's nice to have all the fields at one spot for the college coaches to get around, and you guys really cater us. So, it's something that is always on our schedule every year. We have, obviously, with the Roanoke Stars, we have a CCL program here, so we get to bring, see some of the other clubs come into town, and we can see them play, right in our backyard. So, and as Coach said, these are the best players in the state for most part, and both Coach Pflugrad and I in the men's and women's program, I would say probably a third of our rosters are CCL players, and those are some of the best events that we go to. So it's really a big part of our recruiting.
Changing gears a little bit, you guys are a Division III school. Last episode of CCL College Coach Live, we had William & Mary, who was a Division I school, and the restrictions that the NCAA places for each division are a little different. For you guys, what are the NCAA restrictions on contact and follow-up in instances where contact is initiated by an interested high school player?
Yeah, I mean, we can contact early as freshman year, we can make the phone call, but we can bring people on campus junior July of between the actually that's changed. Coach Pflugrad. We can bring juniors on campus now also. So But yeah, we don't have dead periods. We can contact, we can email back and forth at any time. So it's really a little more wide open. We do have restrictions on some of the social media and as far as tweeting and stuff like that with regard to our recruits. But yeah, we're fortunate. We don't have a ton of rules that we really need to follow in that regard.
Yeah. Again, I didn't having been come back to Roanoke from some Division I programs. I was thinking, man, there's a lot less hoops we need to jump through in order to recruit at the Division III level. It's like our restrictions are far less than at the Division I level in terms of contact. There are some, but typically speaking, like we can, it's easier for us to get in touch with a player at any point throughout their career within the rules that are set. And so, I think that is a difference. And again, there's a set of standards in social media and some parts of it, but typically speaking, it's far more relaxed in terms of the restrictions on contacts than it is at the Division I level for Division III.